All right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew,
And I'm BJ.
and we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. Me and BJ both repping the shirts today. BJ got a
Yeah.
little bit better lighting, so his looks a lot more colorful than mine. I promise mine is not
Well,
faded.
it's also a newer one. This is my brand new
Oh,
team
okay.
shirt that just came in this week. So,
There
rocking the
you
new
go.
shirt today.
There you go.
Kind
That's what
of the
I'm talking about.
TTs on Instagram on Wednesday. If you caught it, that's what we were looking out for.
Heck yeah. BJ got it while it was hot, and you need to
Heck
every
yeah.
time you see a sale. Sales happen often, so as soon as you see us post about a sale or you're on T Public, just waiting, they've got countdowns to let you know when a sale's about to happen on their website sometimes too. So be on the lookout and you get some
Absolutely.
lowdown merch just like us. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is an all NBA filled episode once again. Sorry, WNBA crowd. We will be back with it here very soon. We won't completely just shut out the W, but we will be rocking some NBA only today. A lot of stuff to be talking about. Draymond and Jordan Poole got into it, so we got to talk about that a little bit. The owner trying to get a team in Vegas, and Jamal Murray talking about the bubble was some of the highest level of basketball. And I've heard over the years that people really discount the bubble, put an asterisk on the championship.
Hmm.
So we got to talk about that.
Yeah, we sure
And
do.
a little bit of NBA preseason action has gone on. Your Mavs, BJ, finished a strong game against the OKC Thunder. Came out, I believe it was a 98-96 victory
Yes,
preseason.
indeed.
Jaden Hardy had a good game. We got to talk about those Mavs and some preseason. So let's get it
Yes,
rocking
sir.
if you are ready to go.
Let's do it, my friend.
Let's
Best
do it.
pint of the week
Yeah, and Cam is tuning in.
on the
Shout
road.
it. Heck yeah. T-shirts arrived yesterday. Let's go. Cam got the new T-shirts coming through. That's what I'm talking about. All right, guys. Let's get it rocking. We're going to start off with Draymond and Jordan Poole. That's actually super recent news as
Hmm.
of last night. And, thinking of it, you see the report on social media, if that's where you caught it, wherever you caught it, whether you got the ESPN alert or not, and you're just like, ooh, a little Warriors scuffle. And like, you've seen things lately of, people putting out polls about teams, how many wins are these teams going to get? I've seen Warriors as recently as the other day. And now we have a little scuffle within the defending champs here, Golden State Warriors All Star Draymond Green apparently threw a punch at teammate Jordan Poole at practice on Wednesday. Sources told
Ooh.
ESPN. Ooh, they're
Wow.
throwing. And apparently,
Haymakers now?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about haymakers. They didn't get that specific. It said the two players have been verbally sparring prior to some pushing, which escalated when Green took a swing and made contact with Poole. Ooh, he hit him. Okay.
Ooh.
Not only did he
Yeah.
throw that punch, he connected. Okay.
Yeah. He
Team
landed
officials
it.
are reviewing the episode. Okay. Poole wasn't hurt by the punch. Okay. So Draymond ain't got much in his punches.
Either that
Apparently,
or he
what
held back just
that's what
because.
reports say, or yeah, maybe who knows? And completed his workout before leaving the practice floor on Wednesday. Green has a history of challenging teammates, past and present, in practice and game settings. It is possible there could be some punishment meted out for Green for escalating the practice encountered Wednesday. The Athletic was first to report the incident. BJ, what did you make of this this news when you first saw it? And how much discipline do you think is coming to Draymond Green for hitting his teammate?
You know, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, expletive that you can't really say on this show. But yeah, I was like, something's brewing. Tensions are boiling over with the defending champs, and just kind of interesting to see what where this comes out. And then the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, this is actually probably not the worst thing that could have happened because these are two players. They're both in contract years, Drew. They're both fighting hard and wanting to, go. The kind of player that Draymond Green is, and Jordan Poole is has everything that I've seen from him. He's looking the exact same way. He's trying to, be a baller, trying to get out there and do everything he can to help his team succeed. And so, yeah, when you've got two alphas that are, trying to their highest level to have some success and everything in practice, it's understandable that something like this might have happened. I mean, if you remember the Last Dance, Drew, wasn't it Jordan punched Steve Kerr
Yes.
in before they won like three straight championships after that. So it's not necessarily something that um, I would expect there's going to be some probably like maybe a stern talking to. I don't expect there to be any time missed by either one of these guys. I think they're going
Ooh.
to handle it internally. Is the latest that came out here on a Thursday recording.
Okay.
Um, it says that according to Anthony Slater, Bob Myers said Draymond Green apologized to the team today for the altercation. Poole was there. He practiced. Draymond did not practice. Myers said the Warriors are going to keep the punishment internal. So we're not likely to know whatever punishment may come of this, but I imagine that it's not going to be where we're going to see either of these guys miss any time. It doesn't sound like it was anything more than just you know a tough challenge in practice that got a little bit you know too tough or whatever. And from what I heard, Drew, and you might be able to tell me if you've heard differently, I heard a report that Draymond had bricked a shot and Poole was like, "Pack it up, you're done for the day," or something like that. And then Draymond took a swing as a
Oh
result because he
yeah.
was frustrated. I don't, like I said, I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I mean, just the little chirpiness and everything like that, trying to motivate your teammate to get to a higher level. I can certainly understand the frustration boils over if you had a bad practice or something, especially when you're trying to do your best to secure the bag, if you will.
Here's the punishment for Draymond Green that's going to happen from Golden State.
Slap on the wrist.
And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. Like, yeah, Poole, you got hit. It it didn't hurt enough for you to leave practice. You don't have to get a surgery. You didn't get a broken nose or anything. You had a little scuffle,
Didn't have to wear
and
that mask like Tyler Hansbrough did or
yeah, I
whatever.
don't know. Does he have a black eye? I don't even know. Did he get hit in
I
the
don't.
face?
I
Was
don't
it
think
the
so.
jaw, chin? I don't know. But he threw a punch. It connected somewhere. But not much is going to happen to multi-time champion,
Yeah.
all-star, and defensive player of the year Draymond Green.
No.
Probably not. Probably not. Especially not fresh off a new championship. If the
Yeah.
franchise was in turmoil, be like, all right, this guy really is a problem. Let's maybe think about trading him. But
Yeah, when
nobody's thinking that
when you've won
serious.
four titles in the past 5, 7 some odd years, yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy to overlook something like this, especially when it's been one of the key contributors to those title runs.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be
Yeah,
fine. And Cam saying he's listening in the middle of nowhere on the road in Utah. BJ, YouTube, you're able to pop out on YouTube now. You can leave the app and have the little pop up live up there. So he can just
yeah.
put us to the side if he wants to, if he doesn't want to watch us and just listen, or he can actually just watch us up like that. So, I mean,
He did
you're
say that his reception was kind of stuttering, and so he may have to, if he can't watch it live, he's definitely said he's going to come back and check it out when he gets to his destination, as I would recommend
all
you
right.
do if you are trying to listen to the lowdown while driving.
But some new capabilities from YouTube. You used to not be able to pop out YouTube like that and explore other apps. You can now, so you can always
Yeah,
listen to the lowdown live now and explore other apps if you want to.
heck
You can
yeah.
do the. I
Check us out
believe you
on.
can pop out Periscope on Twitter too. I'm not
I think
sure, but
yeah, I think
you
Twitch will
can
do that as
Twitch. You
well.
can
Yeah,
tweet on Twitch. Yes, so you can do
a
that.
lot of different ways.
Right. But yeah, nothing going on there.
No,
Moving on.
a little bit overhyped, and honestly,
Yeah. Moving on to the owner.
Leona.
LeBron James saying to Commissioner Adam Silver, I want a team in Las Vegas.
Mm.
After wowing the crowd at T Mobile Arena, scoring 23 points in 17 minutes in the preseason game, which we'll get to preseason stuff later. I won't even tell you the score. LeBron saved his biggest play for the post-game news conference. Asked about the NBA hosting an exhibition game in Las Vegas, James used the occasion to make a personal plea to Adam Silver, angling to be first in line to own the team if the league ever expands to Sin City. And this is a perfect time to be talking about doing stuff and building in Vegas when you're
Hmm.
fresh off a championship in the city. It's like, you're right.
Absolutely.
They've been there for about 3 years, 3 or 4 years. They just got a championship. You know what? People love doing stuff in Vegas. We host our summer league there. They love it.
Yeah,
Everybody goes down there and visits, and they love visiting. We should definitely have a team there. And since
yeah,
we're bringing back one team, or since we're going to bring one team in, BJ, that's going to give a door opening for the Seattle Supersonics to come
heck yeah.
on back.
Let's do it. Let's
So
do it. I'm gonna
I'm
rock
all
that Supersonics merch day one, man.
I'm not even a Supersonics fan like that, but I'm all for it because everybody else wants it. I feel like it deserves
Absolutely.
team deserves to
Yeah.
be back, and I think there needs to be a Vegas affiliate team
That
anyway. So it's
Portland
a
Seattle
win-win.
rivalry was unmatched in the 90s, Drew.
Yeah, it is.
Unmatched.
It is a win-win. So I'm down with the owner getting a team once he retires.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're gonna have to wait like
Yeah.
at least 3-4 years. That would be, and that would have to be the team dropping like immediately once he leaves. I mean, his son just turned 18, so he's not far from touching an NBA floor.
Hmm.
So I mean, you're what 2 years away from this kid touching the NBA floor. So, and he's gonna play at least one with him. So that's
Hmm.
three.
Yeah.
And then let's assume it happens immediately, 3.5, 4,
Hmm.
maybe depending on the time of the year. Maybe they have to wait till the next year for the season to start. Let's just say things kick off. It's official in October. They can't start until the next season or whatever, something like that. But
Yeah.
it's going to be about a handful of years to where a Vegas team
Well,
could kick off.
and also think about this. Him saying this now allows that preparation. You know how long it takes to
Mm.
get everything in place for a team. Him saying it now and showing that interest now, they can already start working on it and building it up. And then whenever he decides to retire, they can do an expansion draft and everything like that.
It's the
And
perfect time to say
yeah,
it.
exactly. He's already got the plans long term. Right now, it's just the beginning.
Hmm.
I think it's more likely to happen as a result of him coming out and saying this than him just, showing interest. I think it's already in the works.
I think that's his first big retirement splash
Hmm. Yeah,
officially. We're going to remember this 5 years later that I said
this
this.
this could be coming back as a clip here in 5 years.
Yeah, right. LeBron's first big retirement splash is him dropping the news that the Las Vegas whatevers are now an NBA team.
I guess it wouldn't be Las Vegas Sinners. I don't think that would necessarily
I
be
don't know
the.
what they would name it.
Well, it wouldn't be
The Las
Aces,
Vegas Spades.
Spades. Yeah, I guess you could do that.
La-
That's I don't know that.
Clubs. No.
Was it Diamonds. I don't know if that's. Yeah,
Nah.
we're
Maybe
going
you
we're
might
going
have to go.
with
You
the
might have to
card
go with
card
spades if you're
references.
gonna stay with the casino vibes, which you might as well.
Well, no, you know
But I
what?
mean,
I've
they
I've
got
got it.
Golden Knights in NHL, so you can get creative, I guess.
I've got it. I got it. So
Okay.
you going with the card games?
Okay.
We're gonna go with the Las Vegas 21s for blackjack. Because back
Mm.
in the day, they had a minor league baseball team that I'm pretty sure
Would it be
was
like
like
two
the
cards or something like besides?
yeah,
No.
or it would
Well,
be
I
like
mean that's an
like
alternate Aces logo
an
already.
A and a K or something like that, or a
Mm.
A and a Q for like or an A and a J, something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. That'd be interesting. It would be an interesting thing to figure out what the name would be.
Las Vegas Snake Eyes. I don't know.
I don't know.
That could be
I'm
interesting.
I'm gonna toss my hat in the ring for spades. So I'm
Okay.
gonna put my hat out there for
All
that.
right.
Put
Okay.
it out there for that.
Well,
But
and then
le-
who moves to the Eastern Conference if Seattle and Vegas are coming back? They're definitely going to be in the West. You move Memphis and Minnesota east. Do you think that would be the most likely scenario at this point because they are the two easternmost furthest Western Conference teams?
yeah, probably.
I think you'd have to either them or maybe New Orleans, but I don't know
Yeah,
if they want to do New Orleans. I think anything east of the Mississippi River is kind of fair game.
and I feel like you could get away with doing New Orleans and shipping them east.
Yeah,
So that could be the spot right there. Yeah. So
it'll be interesting.
the
That'll
owner in
definitely.
about 5 years.
Yeah, and that, not only that, I mean, it's he played a preseason game there on Wednesday night, and I think they've got another one here as we record on a Thursday. They're playing Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and this is not the first time that he has expressed interest in owning a team in Vegas. Back in June, apparently, on his YouTube show, The Shop Uninterrupted, he first revealed the goal of wanting a team in Vegas. He's already a part owner of the Red Sox and Liverpool FC, but he wants the team in Vegas. So, and it's not too far fetched of a reality, Drew, because
Hmm.
just maybe 5 years ago, if we were talking about this, it'd be like, oh, he's crazy because they didn't even have the Aces. They certainly didn't have the Raiders back then. There wasn't, there's possibility of bringing an MLB team now with all the turmoil that's going on in the city of Oakland and the athletics there. There could be baseball. So, the only major and then, of course, the Golden Knights' first season was about 5 years ago. They were the first team, I think, in the to go out to Sin City. It's not that far of away, Drew, the reality that we'll have all four major sports will have a franchise in Vegas, and that's something we didn't have even a decade ago.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Crazy to think about. Something else crazy to think about, BJ, is this next part of this NBA talk we're going to, and that's the fact that Jamal Murray's about to come back and play basketball. Seems like
Yeah.
forever since we saw Jamal Murray, and he recently talked about, I mean, exactly that time frame, well, that period in time which we saw him last, which was in the bubble in 2020. And, I saw it on Instagram and I was like, we got to talk about this today because, there's been controversy over the years, people trying to put an asterisk on the championship that year for the Lakers and
Hmm.
stuff and talking about,
Yeah.
that's not a real championship or whatever, the bubble, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And Jamal Murray is over here saying that that was the highest level of basketball being played because it was only basketball. And I don't know where you stand on this topic, but I believe that, I mean, I think that he's right. I mean, I think that's more of a time to focus. Everybody misses people at that time. I get people, dealt with it a little more tough than others, but, you're getting paid like you're on like a work trip, basically, in my mind. I mean, you're always traveling in the NBA anyway, so you're, you were seldom home anyway, so it's not too much of a big difference. So like you can't leave when you want to. I get that, but it was just time to hone in on your craft and like you saw the best of the best, do what they do at that time, and you saw some of those crumble, and some that couldn't deal with being in that bubble. But I thought bubble was big time basketball, and Jamal Murray was one of those people that completely locked in on his game and brought those Nuggets back from that 3-1 deficit against the Jazz and went crazy like he did. That was some absolutely beautiful basketball, and that's really when I locked into Jamal Murray the player. I was like, because I've seen him perform in the playoffs. He's been good, but the Nuggets haven't really gone anywhere, whatever. Before Jokic came into his own with these back-to-back MVPs, but I knew he was a gamer. I knew he was a gamer. And then when they did that comeback, I was just like, man, it wasn't even Jokic who led that. It was Murray that brought
Yeah.
them back. Just a duel of just so many clutch shots. Like it was just, I have to see that dude play in the finals one day. It's just,
It's
I got
got to
to see
happen, right?
all 7 games if it goes seven. It's what
Well,
I've got to see it because it's
so,
just every time clutch time is coming, he's gonna hit some big shots, and he hit them all during that bubble. And I think the people who, players like LeBron James, when it was just basketball, he was the one leading his team and taking it over. Rondo able to hone in on just basketball, the minds of the game, and the people who are really kind of savants and really students who like to really hone in and practice their craft and really have the IQ for basketball are the ones who thrived in the bubble.
I've gone back and forth on this. I kind of at first maybe a little bit discredited the bubble, but at the same time, it was an unprecedented thing that they were trying to do where they had to shut down, with about what was it, a month and a half or so left in the season when they stopped, and then they come back 4 months after that to regroup and everything like that. Nothing like that had been done before. And so, I give them credit for what they did to come up with a solution. It wasn't necessarily the best of solutions, but at least they were able to get back in there, get it, finish the season and get a champion crown. They certainly, made the best out of a terrible situation. I've always kind of just, shrugged and said, all right, that's, I mean, I'm not going to say that the Lakers didn't win the championship that year or whatever. It just, it happened. It wasn't like an authentic playoff experience, but I understand where Murray's coming from. I think he's got a point with his argument because that's something that you miss in the playoffs when you don't have the atmosphere. That's something that bubble. It really was focused more on basketball because you didn't have the atmospheres that you have that make it tough in the postseason, going into those hostile road environments, and the home team feeding off the crowd that gets lost when you play the bubble, and it really just comes down to who's got the best set of skills at that time and who can make that run. I mean, the bubble's where we first really saw the emergence of Phoenix. They were, dead in the water until they got to go to the bubble. And you've seen
Hmm.
what they've been able to do. The best team in the league last year, record wise, in the finals in 2021. And it really started because of that bubble. They finally got together and really figured things out and have, until the series with the Mavericks at least, got things going and figured out and were looking like the team to beat. And so I'm not going to discredit the bubble because I think, you saw the emergence of Miami. They were the best team in the East this year, and they came out of their shell in the bubble postseason as well. So all the way to the finals before losing to the Lakers. Yeah, I think Murray's absolutely got an argument, and I think he's got a fair point to make.
Can't wait to see that dude playing some basketball again this year. It's
Yeah,
been far too long.
less than two
And
weeks till the regular season starts up, Drew. If we don't see him in the preseason,
yeah, and Kawhi's coming back too. He's already played some
yeah,
preseason, I think.
yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for BJ's Best.
All right. Well, I was going to go a little bit outside the box here today. As you talked about last week a little bit, Drew, I was at a concert last Friday night, and I thought about, I got a lot of cool video and everything like that, but I didn't want to subject ourselves to a little copyright or anything like that. So I just decided I would showcase some pictures that I got from the show. So I'm going to put them on screen. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or wherever you may be listening to podcasts, I would recommend you check out the YouTube or at least, the Twitch or the Twitter for these segments because I think these are some really cool pictures. I was at the Farewell Yellow Brick Road Tour, Elton John's final performance in the DFW area last Friday night, and I just wanted to kind of showcase some of the atmosphere. The venue was completely packed, Drew. It was Globe Life Field, and I've been to a lot of baseball there. I've not seen the stadium packed like that before. I mean, it was probably comparable to what Ranger fans saw on um, on Tuesday when the Yankees were in town and Aaron Judge was chasing the home run record. So I'm just going to kind of go through and show off a little bit of these pictures as we talk about this. But that's kind of what my BJ's best was for this week is just being at this concert. And you can see there in this picture right here, especially, there's a lot of people in the stands and the floor is completely packed. It was an amazing environment, an amazing experience to be a part of. Because I've been to concerts before, but I've been to concerts at the American Airlines Center. There's a kind of a little shaky shot or a blurry shot of Elton John on the piano. And I know, Drew, that we've talked about music before on the show and everything like that. But for me, as somebody that enjoys some of the classic rock and everything like that, having being at this show just was one of those like cross off the bucket list kind of moments for me. And so my question to you, as I keep showing some of these pictures, is there an artist that you want to see that you've never seen in concert before? We can talk a little music here for a few minutes. I think you're muted, Drew. You might want to check that. Um,
Yes, because I was supposed to see him about, oh man, I think it's been 5 years now. 5 years ago, one of my friends got me a ticket to see Lil Wayne for
okay.
it was a January concert. I don't remember what happened. Like something had happened. Little Wayne had gotten sick, or he had gone to. I don't remember. His concert had gotten canceled for the concert that I was supposed to be going to. So I was gonna get to see my favorite artist of all time, and then the show got canceled. So
Mm,
at some point before he stops rapping, I need to see Little Wayne.
yeah, I would absolutely advise you to do that if you can, even if you have to travel. I got lucky that Sir Elton John was coming to DFW, but I would have traveled to go see his show because I'd never been. I had never
Hmm.
been to an Elton John concert before. I'd seen artists like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'd seen Fall Out Boy. I'd seen some more newer artists that I enjoy and everything like that. But as much as I enjoy classic rock and one of the best things, Drew, is that I got to take my mom. My mom loves Elton John. She loves the movie Rocket Man. In fact, somewhere over just to my side, Elton John's biography is here and on the bookshelf. So
Heck yeah.
she's been a huge fan, and so I kind of just when that concert was announced back in June of last year, I was like, I gotta get tickets. I don't care how much I gotta pay, I'm gonna get tickets. And I was fairly pleased with where the seats ended up being, and for the price that I paid, it was not bad. My mom's already asked me, he's like, he's coming back. He's going to be in Houston and San Antonio. Floor seats aren't too much more expensive than what we paid. You want to go again? I'm like, I mean, if you want to pay it, let's do it. I'm right there with you. Let's go again.
Heck yeah.
So, last ever U.S. concert for Elton John will be in November at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. I believe it's November 20th, and I've got a shirt
Wow.
over here, but I'm not gonna.
Not
Maybe one
far
day
away.
on the podcast I'll be
There
rocking
you
Elton
go.
John's shirt. But I wanted to rep the Lowdown today,
Yeah.
so that's BJ's best. It's just a little gallery slideshow, and I've got more video and pictures than you could drown a monkey with. But I'm not gonna overwhelm or anything. I might post them on social media. I just thought it was cool to kind of share a little bit of a look at what the concert was like. So
Always good to check something off the bucket list.
yes,
Heck
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely,
That's
man.
a blast. If y'all can go again and you can afford it, man, I say do it.
I'm right there with you.
As I
I'd
said,
love
his
to.
last performance is a month and 2 weeks away.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotta get it done. Gotta get it done while he's still performing.
There was somebody at the concert that had said they'd been to like 100+ Elton John concerts in their life. And I was
Jeez.
like, man. And this is my first, and it's on his farewell tour. So
Those are some Elton John fanatics.
fanatics, indeed.
Yeah, we'll talk about those later. But speaking of fanatics, kinda, if you're a sports fanatic, you can get down with this NFL action that's in full swing at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns from the Dallas Cowboys, big plays from the Dallas Cowboys, and even bigger wins by Cooper Rush.
Quarterback
New
controversy?
stop it. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do.
Yeah, Drew, and check this out. In addition to the usual bets you can place with DraftKings, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. If you're a fan of the NFL, you want to bet on tonight's Thursday night football action between the Broncos and the Colts, and you think that the Broncos are going to win big because Colts aren't going to have Jonathan Taylor or Shaquille Leonard, why don't you do that? Why don't you take a bet that Russell Wilson will throw at least 2 touchdown passes and the Broncos will cover the spread? Whatever matchup or whatever team that you want to get some money on this weekend, whether it be those Dallas Cowboys taking on the LA Rams, maybe you like the AFC North showdown on Sunday night between Baltimore and Cincinnati, or even
Mm.
if you want to hold off and look at that Kansas City and Vegas matchup on Monday Night Football.
Ugh.
I mean, there's a lot of action that you can bet this weekend on DraftKings Sportsbook. And to make things even sweeter, Drew, you can throw down on stepped up same game parlays once per game day all season long.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code TBPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, Drew. I'm going to ask you. We talked about music for BJ's best, and I'm hoping that maybe we don't have another music segment. But as always, it's time to explore the grand wonders of what's on Drew's mind.
Well, BJ, as you know, there are a lot of things always on my mind, but specifically today, I'm going back to those hashtag national days that
Okay.
I've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And today is National Coaches Day.
Coaches.
Coaches.
Okay.
National Coaches Day. BJ, do you have a favorite coach that you had in your life?
Oh, I've got several that I can think of that have been,
Do you
made an
have
impact on
one
mine.
that sticks out above the rest? Or do you
I
have
well,
a collection?
I have a collection, but I'll mention one who's no longer with us. I'd like to
Okay.
give a big shout out and a rest in peace to Coach Gary Rolston, one of my favorite coaches and teachers I had back in high school at Rockwall. So we lost him. Actually, it's been about 10 years ago now. We lost him early in my senior year. He had a health complication after surgery, but
Mm.
he made a big impact. I had him twice. I was lucky enough to have him for world geography in freshman year, and then for U.S. history my junior year. And he was, fantastic. He served for the United States in Vietnam, and just, you learned history, but it never felt like you were learning like from a book or anything like that. He had a way of taking what you needed to learn and being able to make you seem it, make you interested in it for the entirety of the class. And I hate that there were, I mean, I know he'd still be teaching right now if he hadn't died. There are so many, you know, classes, generations of students that did not get to have him as a teacher that are missing out because he was fantastic.
Who is your favorite coach that you've ever interviewed?
Oh, favorite coach I've ever interviewed. And I know that if any of the coaches that I have interviewed listen to this podcast, they don't hear their name, they might get a
You
little upset.
want to go by sport then? Let's say in
We could do
football.
sport. We could do sport. For football, oh man, I got to talk to Jeff Monken of Army a few years ago after
Okay.
the Armed Forces Bowl. He is always a fantastic
Oh yeah, I
interview.
was there.
Yeah, I've also gotten lucky enough to ask Frank Solich, a legendary coach at Nebraska. He was actually at Ohio at this point. Got to ask him a question or two after the Frisco Bowl about 4 or 5 years ago now. Um, I've talked with Colby Carthel, David Bailiff, the former A&M Commerce coach and current A&M Commerce head coach, and then of course the coaches that I've talked to as part of being a broadcaster for the Crandall Pirates. That would be Joe Carey and Kyle Harden. So I can't pick a favorite one, but I do want to give them all props, and they've put up with me and tolerated me at least. But if I had to pick one, I think Monken was my favorite interview, just because what he's done with the United States Army, and being the coach of that team. I got to give him mad props.
Mine would probably be Kurt Miller from the Connecticut Sun, just because
Okay.
of the specific time in which it happened. I did it live in my first home playoff game, at
Hmm.
Dallas's arena. So just
Yeah.
like first home WNBA playoff game and in the playoffs, uh, one of the better coaches in the league, recent coach of the year.
Hmm.
So it's just one of those cool moments right there that
Yeah.
just sticks up. As far as like,
Basketball. I mean, you went with basketball there, but I, I
so
thought you might say our good friend Jason Burton, who has been on the pod, friend of the show.
oh man, yeah, he's
I enjoy
always
always having him on.
him and Markeith Brown were always good
Hmm.
interviews.
Yes. Yeah.
Always good interviews for sure.
We gotta have him on
Um,
before their season starts up
oh,
again.
for sure, he's gonna be on here.
Yeah.
Um, in the football space,
Hmm.
um, I don't think I ever got to talk to Carthel when he was at Commerce. I
Hmm.
did do Bailiff. Um, let's see what a
Didn't you?
football
Didn't
game.
you? Did you
I don't know.
interview To, or did you just meet him?
I just met him. I didn't interview
Okay.
him.
Okay.
So I don't know if I've had a ton of football interviews. So I mean, I guess
Yeah.
by default, Bailiff has to be there. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how it goes because when I was at the national championship games, I was photographing
Hmm.
each time,
Yeah.
and when I went to the Frisco Bowl, I was photographing for you guys.
Hmm.
So
Well,
can't
I
remember the
actually
last time I
I
reported
did
it for you.
photographing one time, so I thought maybe you'd gotten to ask a
Oh, which one
question.
was it?
It was the Eastern Washington and North Dakota State championship game. I thought you were
Hmm.
doing the you were up in the box for that one, and I thought maybe you
I
got to
don't
interview.
remember.
Yeah, we got so many stories, and we can go back in our archive and past and everything like that. We could spend an hour talking just about our past college experiences and whatnot.
And
So
and since I'm interviewing him right now or recently, Coach Faircloth at Silver Springs, he can get
absolutely,
tossed on in here. He's got some coach speak every now and then. Coach, you do. It's all right.
yeah, it's all
But
right.
no, he can give you some really good insightful
He
information.
keep
He's a,
he
he's a
keep
good interview.
he keeps winning
Especially,
games. I don't care if it's coach speak.
especially when you ask him a good question and he's like, "Oh yes," and he'll go in for a minute on it. So I like
Hmm.
those. Um,
Yeah. Bailiff, the last time I talked with him, I asked him a simple question, and he gave me like a 2.5 minute answer. I was like, yes, finally, thank you. I don't have to fill too much time now.
Yeah.
So,
And BJ, as you know, since we went to commerce, we know quite a bit of coaches. We were in the sports realm all a bit. Whether it's interviewing them or photographing their team or talking about them on the radio, we were around a litany of coaches at
hmm,
A&M Commerce, from Jason Burton and Markeith Brown and their various assistants over the years,
yeah,
to Coach Carthel's era in the national championship,
hmm,
Bailiff, as we just mentioned, who's
yeah.
currently there.
Special shout
Um,
out to Richie Brewster,
I
former
was just
softball
about
head
to
coach.
say Richie Brewster in softball photographed
Hmm.
his team. You called the games,
For 2 years, yes, sir.
and Coach Rose for the men's basketball team.
Hmm. And
So,
Sam Walker before him. I
and
don't know if you
Sam
got
Walker.
to
I was not
interview
in
him.
the Sam
Okay,
Walker era. Well,
okay,
I think I've interviewed him before,
yeah.
yes,
I didn't
but
get.
not as a coach.
I think I interviewed him once as a coach, and then it was the first year of Rose. I got a couple interviews with Rose.
Yeah.
So
So we've known some solid coaches in our time at
absolutely.
A&M Commerce. I've also known some dope coaches of the teams that I've gotten to cover over the years.
Hmm.
Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings.
Yeah.
I've asked a question to both Rick Carlisle and Jason Kidd, since they've been coaches at the Dallas Mavericks.
Which one was your favorite to ask a
Obviously,
question to?
oof.
Did Kid give you a a better answer, or was he better about answering the question than Carlisle? Carlisle always kind of, especially if he was in a mood, it seemed like he would be like snappy or like quick.
Yes, because I asked him after I lost. So I'm gonna go with Jason. I wish he's super soft spoken, even more than
Mm-hmm.
my brother. So
Yeah,
it's hard to hear, and I wish he would have given a little more, but he probably wasn't expecting that type of question. So,
yeah.
um, and all the Dallas Wings coaches that have come through now over the years,
What, four of them
from
now?
Fred Williams to the few games of Taj McWilliams Franklin to Brian Agler to now here and gone Vicky Johnson.
And it's about
All
to be a
those
fifth one
interviews.
that you'll ask here next season.
Favorite one of those has so far been Fred Williams, for sure, by
Okay.
far.
Yeah.
And I wish I had more time with him that year.
Yeah.
That was my first year, but
Maybe we could try to get him on the podcast.
it's been good to see. I don't know. He's a busy man.
Yeah, that's true.
But I have gotten to see him. I got to go in the Sparks side when he was the interim head coach for the rest of the
Hmm.
year this season. So I've got to see him again. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, National Coaches Day. We've had a bunch of coaches throughout the course of our lives, BJ, and
Hmm.
the teams that we're fans of. All our Dallas teams. Our college teams. You might have a tie to the TCU coach. Me,
Actually,
I'm
yeah, I
s-
actually did
I'm
meet
stuck as a
Gary
Texas
Patterson.
fan.
I did
Uh,
meet Gary Patterson about 7 years ago. He's not the head coach at TCU any longer, but I did meet him. I didn't interview him or anything, but
yeah,
so that was pretty cool.
but yeah, just to know all these coaches, and we're fans of these other teams, so we know what we
Do you have a
teams that we like.
last question for you on this subject before we move on? Did you have a coach that kind of made an impact on you, like in the high school or middle school days that you still remember? I talked about mine, but I don't know if you got to, since this is
Um,
what's on your mind.
yes, in a way.
Hmm.
When I was like a specific impact, just because I got, just had a talk with him one day in high school. Just got to completely, let off my shoulders a lot of things that I was feeling, and I didn't get
Yeah,
to talk about frustrations with the other coach. Whatever,
yeah,
lack of usage. Whatever the up and down playing, whatever. Just
yeah.
all of it, everything built into it. So I mean, it was big of him as a coach to sit down with me in the basketball stands and like literally cry with me as I'm upset and feeling like I was being treated unfairly. So I mean, he'll always stick out as the guy who listened. He's a funny coach. He was fun to play for. I mean, he wasn't necessarily a basketball coach, but
Hmm.
I still had fun playing under him because of the guy he was. Uh, I thought he was pretty cool,
Well, and that's the
and
thing that.
just to listen like that makes a difference, in kids' lives. And now this within this segment, in this National Coaches Day, I also wanted to send out a message to the coaches out there, just to like be more cautious of who you're coaching, and like it's not always, you don't always have to stick to everything that you think you can always adapt to the kids. And like, some people, yes, that yelling, it might motivate them, but it ain't gonna motivate everybody else. And maybe that motivation for those some that don't do the yelling, maybe some need that yelling. And whatever
Hmm.
you got to do to adjust to your athletes is kind of what you should do, instead of
Yeah,
driving kids out of sports, because we're trying to get a lot more kids to play sports, especially girls in sports.
100%,
So
100%.
it's all up to coach to do that. And starting at the young age is super important. So I appreciate the coaches in Silver Springs this year for doing the leagues over the summer. Soccer starting a league, basketball getting continuous, football doing constant work, and all the other sports staying active as well.
Yeah,
It's about starting with those youth. So just
absolutely.
want to put the message out there to coaches today. Shout
And
out to y'all.
and what you talked about, just that experience there that sticks with you all this time later, that's an undervalued trait that coaches have to have, is that the ability just to, I mean, I'm not saying that it happens a lot, but there are some cases where, you know there are athletes that their only, prominent male role model is that coach. And that's something that can't be, understated, how much of an impact, a coach can have on, not just an athlete's life but a student's life, just anybody's life really. And so that, I'm glad that you told that story, Drew, because that's something that, that thankfully I didn't have, to, I don't have a memory like that of, talking with a coach and on the, the basketball stands, and crying it out. But that's one thing that a coach should be there for, in case of, somebody needs that.
Yes, indeed, it is important. But that's all I got for what's on Drew's mind today.
Good
We
stuff.
can
Good stuff.
go ahead and transition to some NBA preseason. BJ, preseason started this past Friday when we dropped the last
Hmm.
episode,
Yeah.
and I can't tell you how many games have gone on. There's been a lot of playing. I don't know how many. Maybe teams have played maybe a few at most since then. I've seen the Warriors on here a couple of times, not three just yet. They play a third one not until Sunday. So I mean, probably a lot of teams have played a couple of games. And our Dallas Mavericks recently won a game over the Thunder, 98-96, led by Jaden Hardy's 21 points. Didn't
I,
get to watch that one. Got to see the some stats from Mavericks fans as the game was going on last night. So, but it's good to hear that we can get some stuff done.
I
See,
just,
better
I just,
better hear about Mavericks wins and losses in any capacity.
absolutely, especially against a good young team like the Thunder. I just counted up, as of recording right now, there have been 23 preseason games played
23 total.
over the last week or so, and there will be some more here as we record on a Thursday. There's going to be some more tonight. Obviously, the big kind of matchups that you're going to see, they're actually being televised by ESPN. You've got a game between the Heat and the Nets in Brooklyn, and then there's a game between the Timberwolves and the Lakers over in Las Vegas. And those Lakers not having gotten a preseason win despite LeBron and company playing the other night, when LeBron made his comments about owning that team in Vegas. But yeah, I talk going back to the Mavericks. That's kind of what you want to see, especially from Jaden Hardy coming in as a rookie. But how about Christian Wood? 16 and 13 boards for the Mavericks. And
Man,
I know we talked about last week as he's going to be coming off the bench as the sixth man, but he keeps balling out like this, and they might have to reconsider at least the minutes. They might start JaVale McGee, and then the first time out, Christian Wood comes in for a good long spell, and then JaVale comes back in. I don't know. They got two guys that really could be your starting center
I
as
did
opposed
see
to just McGee.
I did see one highlight of Christian Wood where he got it in the paint and was posting up, and Dorian Finney had slid over wide open for a wing three, and he didn't see him or look to pass it out. So
Mm,
I think Christian Wood this preseason is about breaking out of the habits of being on a bad team and not looking to kick out for shooters or anything like that, because that's going to
yeah,
be open. I mean,
yeah.
once he starts eating down low and they're going to start doubling him or trying to reach in or whatever, that kick out's always going to be there. Somebody's going to be open for that all the time, no
Y-
matter if it's JaVale trying to do a hook shot or whatever down low off a rebound or something.
or
Somebody's going to be open
Bullock,
outside
yeah,
for a shot to
yeah.
create something.
And he did have an assist, but I think the more he watches the film and kind of sees, okay, and when they
Right.
got it on me, look outside because there's a guy open, like you said. He's gonna he could. I'm not saying he's gonna get a triple double, but he could get pretty darn near close the way that he played last night with his ability to clean up the boards and get points. And if he just adds in that extra element that is going to be crucial to this Jason Kidd offense, we might see Luca and Christian Wood at some point this year both get a triple double in the same game. It's
I
gonna be
don't
tough. It's gonna be tough.
I don't
But if
know
it
about
happens, I'd like to come back and clip this one.
yeah, I don't know about that, but I can see if Christian Wood can average about 3 borderline 4 assists a game, that's excellent. No matter, I
Absolutely,
mean, and if
absolutely,
he's
yeah,
giving you like a double double a night, and but he's
yeah,
able to kick that out to your guys, that'll be important. And
yeah.
some little shuffle inside too, if they ever have him and McGee on the floor at the same time, maybe they could do that front court action with each other. I don't
Well,
know,
and you
but
also think about how much the Mavs are selfless as a team. Wood will get a board and he'll pass it back out when he gets the double, and then Finney Smith will kick it to Bullock, who will kick it to Luca at the top of the key for the jumper. So you'll get like 4 assists on the same shot, but it won't go to Christian Wood. But Christian Wood cleaning up the paint will be what leads to a 3-pointer instead of the easy two or whatever.
and
I think it's possible to see that.
I did finally find the master list of the records in the preseason so far. We've got 5 teams that are 0-2.
Hmm.
Bucks, Blazers, Hornets, Wizards, Lakers.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Who put stock into the preseason? Not really me.
not us,
Not
not
really
us.
anybody. So,
Although I did laugh a little bit when Phoenix lost to the who was it? The Adelaide? Is that the
yep, I did.
place?
I was it Phoenix? Yes, yeah,
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 it was
yeah,
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. And I had put a bet on one of the games when the Clippers were playing this other team. I think it's Renahan Maccabi Renan or whatever.
Uh huh.
However you pronounce that.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I won that one, so that was cool. But other than that, preseason players just getting some work in. If you got some developmental guys you want to watch, I mean, like for us, it's a Jaden Hardy, it's a Christian Wood, how they're looking when JaVale comes back and plays, see how he looks with our guys. That's what we're looking for in the preseason. If we lose, who cares? I mean, it's just a preseason right now. It's not really
Exactly.
going to matter. We got
Exactly.
82 games, and we got a Luca that didn't even play either, so it's not like it matters. So.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, we want to talk about it a little bit to bring some light upon it. There's still some preseason games going on. Season starts in 11 days, 10 days from the podcast debut of this episode.
Hmm.
And 10 days from right now to get in those fantasy drafts, ladies and gentlemen. You are
Yeah.
running out of time. Mr.
Yeah.
BJ is back with us again for another year of fantasy basketball. And the dumpster fire is going to make the playoffs this year. I'm
No.
calling it
No.
right now.
No.
Come on,
This is
man. We
gonna
gotta
this gonna this is
we,
gonna
we
go in
gotta
our
power
lulls
through.
of the year.
We gotta power through. But now, ladies
The,
and
the
gentlemen,
less
it
the
is
less faith I put in my team, the better.
it is now time for with it or quit it.
Woo, woo. And we're back to the format where I, myself, BJ, ask Drew 5 questions about various topics, whatever they may be. I'm
Hmm.
going to give it to Drew, and Drew is going to tell me if he is with it or quit it. No pause. I'm wearing socks. All right. All jokes aside, are you ready, Drew?
Yeah.
Number one. So I'm going to talk about baseball to start off because we have our playoff bracket all shaped up nicely into the regular season. Was Wednesday. Playoffs start today. MLB playoffs are kicking off with the wild card round. It's a best of 3 series, but we're going to skip past the wild card round and we're going to talk about this question, Drew. One
Okay.
of the top 4 seeds in the postseason, that would be the Dodgers, the Braves, the Astros, or the Yankees. One of those 4 teams will be eliminated prior to the league championship series. So they're going to go down in an upset before they even have a chance to get to the World Series. Are you with it or are you going to quit it? And if so, who do you think it's going to be if you're with it?
With it, give me the Yankees.
You think the Yankees are going to fall before the league championship series?
Yeah.
You want to know who they could potentially play before you make this statement?
Tell me.
Okay, so they will take on the winner of the series between the Cleveland Guardians or the Tampa Bay Rays. That's a best of three this weekend, and then the division series will start next week on Tuesday, I believe.
Still taking the Yankees.
You still think the Yankees are going to lose? Really?
Yankees. I don't have
Wow.
faith in the Yankees, and as soon as they lose, Aaron Judge is leaving.
Yeah. Where do you think he ends up? That's going to be another
I
interesting
wish he'd be a
question.
fucking Texas Ranger.
I mean, he's got a historic moment here. He could have a whole lot more if he wants to come to Arlington.
I'd pee
Think
myself if he
about it.
did.
Think about it, Aaron.
The
Think
time
about
is
it.
now.
The
The
time, yeah.
time is now.
You see what they were able to do with Simeon and Seager in the lineup. You add Aaron Judge, and the whole team is going to just pop.
And give us some decent pitching. Come
Yeah,
on, Jack Leiter Colwyn. Come on.
yeah. And we're
Come
going
on.
to get Kumar Rocker rocking in here before you know it too. So,
Hey,
all
buddy.
right, all right. Number two.
Two.
As we're into autumn now, we're into fall, but it may not feel like it with temperatures dang near the 90s as we record on a Thursday. But it doesn't mean that you can't get yourself a nice fall beverage from a coffee shop or anything like that. And so the question, Drew, you hear a lot of talk about it this time of year: pumpkin spice. The statement is pumpkin spice beverages are overrated. With it or quit it.
Beverages?
Yeah, mostly you hear the latte, but I've heard like cold brew, and there's all kinds of things you
Well,
can
there's a
do.
lot of pumpkin spice things. Like there are pumpkin spice waffles. But
Hmm.
yes, I would say yes, I'm with it.
Okay,
They do.
yeah. I'm not really a big fan of the one and only pumpkin spice latte I had, so I'm right there with you. Honestly, I think it gets a lot of hype, and it doesn't necessarily need it. All right, number three.
Uh,
I'm gonna shift gears, talk some college football this weekend. Drew, the Red River Showdown goes down in the Cotton Bowl Stadium in Dallas. And the statement that you have to ask yourself: are you with it or are you going to quit it? But the Texas Longhorns will beat Oklahoma this weekend in the Red River Showdown.
Quit it.
Quit it? Really?
Every, only because every time I pick Texas, they lose.
Okay. I can
I have
understand that.
that's how that one's gotta go.
Just for reference, Quinn Ewers is expected to play. Dylan Gabriel for Oklahoma might
Yes.
not.
So maybe this answer will bring us to victory. You know what I'm saying?
Or maybe
Think
so.
there's a
The
chance.
old reverse jinx, if you
The
will.
old reversal. Arr.
All right, number four. So we talked about when LeBron James wants to have a basketball team in Vegas and what the name could be. Well, this question goes back to some of those card games in Vegas or elsewhere. And the question, Drew, blackjack is the best card game to play when you are in Vegas. With it
Jeez.
or quit
If you want to stress yourself out with it,
it?
I'm gonna say with it though. Anyway, I'm addicted to it. No, I'm not addicted
I was
to it.
about to say 1-800 gamblers.
It's just a pain. Like it can be cruel to you. So
Yeah.
if you can deal with it, then all the power to you.
If you got the
Otherwise,
stress level for it.
yeah, if you can handle all that.
All right, awesome. I don't play a whole lot of card games, but I do find myself enjoying blackjack quite a bit.
Yeah,
Hold'em is you gotta have a good poker face, and I think my face is too honest to play poker. I'd give away what my cards are.
it is what I play most often.
Gotcha. Okay. And last but not least, number five. All right, you remember back in March the excitement of two Dallas teams in the postseason playing on the same around the same time, where you'd have one night and the other night or whatever. Well, Drew, with it or quit it for this last time today. We're going to see that again this year because both the Stars and the Mavericks will return to the playoffs this season. They're both about to
Oh
start
shoot!
up. We talked about, I think NHL starts up next week and basketball is a week after. We got to see that again with it or quit it.
Glad I'm not gambling on this. I'm with it though. I'm with it.
Okay. You got to get a little bit better stars so that we can go both teams into the second round and beyond again this year. So,
Yeah.
all right, I'm with it too. I'm gonna have faith. I got a whole bunch of star shirts that I got also on T Public for the season, and Of course, I got a lot of Mavs gear. I also wear rock the Lowdown if I go to a Mavs game.
There you go.
And also, Drew, if you want to get some new gear for your teams, why don't
Yeah.
you hit up Fanatics?
That's right. We all like to hit up Fanatics, my man. We got any fresh shipping codes on Fanatics right now, PJ? Let me know.
That's what I was just about to say, Drew. I think we do. I'm going to go back and double check. Looks like right now, Drew, you can get up to 65% off. We don't have a shipping code, but right now on Fanatics, you can get up to 65% off with code Apple. That is good through
Hey.
the rest of the day, Thursday. But then tomorrow, as this podcast drops, depending upon what time you may be listening on Spotify or Apple, wherever you may be listening, if you're listening between the hours of midnight to noon, you can get 30% off as it's a timed coupon. You got to beat the clock. So remember these times. 30% off between midnight and noon. From noon to 6, you can get 25% off. And from 6 p.m. to midnight, you can get 20% off. So if you want the best deals, got to get through that 12-hour window between midnight and noon here on Friday and use promo code ZIP30. It's the Zip promo bar takeover. Zip 30 between the hours of midnight to noon, Zip 25 noon to 6, Zip 20 6 p.m. to midnight to get the subsequent percentages off your total. So if you want to get rock some new Fanatics gear, now's the time. Go get yourself up to 65% off today and throughout the rest of the weekend on Saturday and Sunday. But if you want to get 30% off everything, for sure, the time coupon starts tonight at midnight and goes through Friday at noon. Got to
Let's
beat the
go.
clock.
Got to beat the clock.
Got to
Hey,
beat
and
the clock.
right on the homepage, you got some stuff you might want to take a look at too. I mean, some salute to service gear for the NFL on here.
Mm-hmm.
Some new Nikes, Nike Zoom Pegasus 39s in
Oh,
a bunch of different
yeah.
colors. Some Aaron Judge single season home run record
Mm-hmm.
memorabilia. Come
Yeah.
on now, it's all right here front and center for you at Fanatics. And ladies and gentlemen, that's actually we're gonna conclude our show with this Fanatics love as well. And we want the love from you. If you aren't following us on social media, make sure you go do that. Show us some love, drop us a follow, and subscribe wherever you have access. Where if you got all those platforms, cool. If you only got 3 out of 5, cool. We'll take your 3 out of 5 follows. We're over there on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. So make sure you guys go get plugged in with the lowdown. That's where we'll have all the information that you need on those platforms, live shows and things on Twitch and YouTube, and more informational on Twitter and Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not already, make sure you rate and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts. If you're an Apple listener, Spotify users, I'm sorry you can't review for us. I wish you could, but you can. You can rate. You do have the
Give us
ratings
a
on
five
there
star.
available on there right now. But all you Apple listeners, come over to Apple and give us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we post about our reviews as well. We've put one from one of my friends, Josh Rodriguez, on our social media as well, and we're going to continue to do that. So the more we hear from you and you guys show love, I mean, we'll let everybody know and broadcast. Our listeners, which are you guys out there who is taking the time to show us love like that and leave those reviews. So we
Also, don't
appreciate it.
forget, no, now that we're into October, we got to get a mailbag monthly going again. So if you want to be featured in the mailbag monthly, get your questions for maybe you want to get some with it or quit it questions for the two of us to answer, or
That's right.
whatever maybe you want us to talk about in the mailbag. Get that in before the end of the month. That's at lowdown the. That's lowdown tha at gmail.com. We'll be on the
Yeah,
lookout for it.
that's right. And that's gonna do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week.